I want to talk to you a little bit about debt collection, because there's really no point in growing a business and doing the work for the clients if you're not getting paid what is yours. We are talking here about collecting your money. That means it's your money. That means you have every right to go and collect it, all right? And yet collections is an area that I see done poorly by most, extremely poorly by Christians. I don't know what it is. I think there's this, in fact, I kind of do. I've heard it around the traps. People say, but like he who he was forgiven much loves much, and it's all grace and mercy and not law. And so should I be pushing? Yes, you should be pushing for your money, right? You supplied the service. You should go after it with absolute conviction. Okay, but most people are doing a poor job when it comes to collections. So I just want to give you a bit of structure so you can follow it and do a better job. If you're sitting there right now and you do have a problem with collections, people owe you money, you've firstly got to look at yourself, right? You trained your customers that it was okay for them not to pay. All right, so we've always got to throw ourselves under the bus and realize it all starts with us and finishes with us. So if you've got a problem with collections, first of all, it's your fault. You didn't have a system, you didn't have a process, you didn't set the expectations, you haven't followed it. So that's the first step. But secondly, most people's system is to avoid confrontation. That's why bad payers get away with it, because you don't like confrontation. Now, you don't have to be aggressive, but you need a system. I need a diligent system. That's what weeds out the people. Like, you may always have the one or two rogue payers because they're rogue people. That's just the way they are. They rip everybody off as they go around. The bigger the business you build, the more of those you're going to meet. I'm talking about, the 80% of debtors who are just pushing their luck. They're the ones that your system will flush out, and you can retrain them to be a better client, better customer, and to pay you on time. So here's what we don't do. We don't send statements. Okay? Well, you can send a statement, but it's not going to work. It's supplementary. But sending statements is not a debt collection system. Okay? Only 50% of statements that get sent out actually have bank details on them. So you send a statement to say you owe money for this invoice, and then they've still got to go track down the invoice from ages ago to find out the bank details to pay them. Madness, right? It just doesn't work. So you can send a statement, but I'm going to suggest to you that the best way that you can do debt collection is get on the phone. Pick up the phone, call the people. People say to me, what about the relationship? I'm going to lose the relationship. Yeah, they've already pushed the boundaries of the relationship because they're not paying you. And really, you've got to ask yourself, do you want to protect the relationship of a D-grade customer because they're not paying you, okay? And then I would say to you that you can afford to be calling and it doesn't jeopardize the relationship, because it's mostly embarrassing for them that they're the ones not paying. So we're doing phone calls, and we're going to do a 3-step phone call system. The first phone call is what we call oops, okay? It's nice, it's light-hearted. Basically, we call up and we say, hey, Mary, Wes here. Listen, I just noticed that invoice 216 was outstanding for $417. It looks like you might have overlooked it. So we're giving them the out, giving them it's nice and polite, not heavy. And then once we've made that clear, we simply say, when can I expect that to be paid? That's it. You don't say anything else. Okay, because the silence draws the answer at the end of that. In fact, I would go so far as to say first person who talks loses. Because if you're so scared of confrontation that you do that and you say, when can I expect that to be paid? And then the silence just makes you squirm and you fill that void with your words, you will end up undoing the entire structure of the system, and then basically they know that you don't like this, and so they'll just push you away and probably get away with it for a little bit longer. When can I expect that to be paid? Remain silent, and they will fill the space with whatever they say. Now, the vast majority of people in response to that are going to say, oh my gosh, I didn't realize, I'm so sorry, some form of that. And then they're going to say, I'm going to get this paid. And so what happens is they'll say, we'll pay it on Tuesday, whatever. Then you you bring a loop to whatever they said. So you say, so you told me you'll pay tomorrow. Great. I'll check the account the next morning, and if it's not there, I'm just going to give you a quick call back. So what you've done is you've said, Mary, I've caught you out for not paying. Oh, that's so bad. I'm going to pay it. And then you say, great, I'm going to call you back. You said Tuesday. I'm going to check Wednesday. If it's not in the account, I'm going to call you back. So you've basically said, Mary, if you don't do what you said, I'm going to be back on the phone and we're going to be having another conversation about this. All right? So, did you plug this in? Good. So that's kind of like step one. Now, a couple of things could happen in a call like that. It could be, I didn't get the invoice, I can't pay, whatever. Those things come up and you just deal with them, okay? If somebody says to you, well, I can't pay that amount right now, you say, I understand. How much can you pay right now? And then you process a credit card over the phone or however you can do it, right? If you don't have merchant facilities, get them. They cost nothing, okay? For you to have a Stripe account where you can put a credit card through manually, whatever you want to do, okay? But take some money because you're de-risking every time. You're helping your cash flow, but you're also de-risking if the client goes bad. So, oops, it's lighthearted, happy days, get them to make a commitment, tell them what the commitment was and tell them you're going to call them back. I reckon out of the honest debtors, 80% will pay up after that first phone call. What you can't do is say, when are you going to pay? I'm going to pay tomorrow. Great. I'll check the day after and ring you, and then not check and not ring them, because then you just retrained them that you didn't actually mean it. You've got to actually mean it. Whatever day you said you would call, you've got to start calling them, because that's retraining them to follow your system. All right? Now, let's say they do pay. Great. No need to ring them again. If they don't pay, we move on to call number 2. Call number 2 is when we get firm with them. We get firm with them, right? So here basically is when we say, so you call back, they said they would pay Tuesday, so you check Wednesday, it's not there, you call on Wednesday. Mary, it's Wes again. Listen, I'm calling again about invoice 217 for $417. It still remains outstanding. You didn't pay what you said you were going to pay. When can I expect that to be paid? Short, curt, monotone, confrontational to a degree. And what that does is it basically says to them, oh, listen, my time's up. I can't get away with this. There's no niceties in the second phone call because you're giving them a chance. They didn't live up to what they said. Now you're following it up with a firm phone call. You're not aggressive at all, but you're very firm and assertive and curt in your words. Okay? This remains outstanding. When can I expect that to be paid? Now, out of that, you'll get a bunch of different responses. One of the responses you'll get is, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I legitimately forgot. I know I promised you. My kid got sick. Dog ate my homework. Aliens came down. Whatever, and I didn't get to it. I am going to do that right now. You know what? Sometimes that happens. Sometimes everybody had the best intention of paying you on the first day, but they all of a sudden just, I don't know, whatever. They hung up the phone, there was a drama, and they forgot about you. That will flush out, right? I reckon that'll flush out another 10%, okay, of people, right? That's probably all it is. This is quite often the stage where you get the actual complaint. Well, we're not actually happy with the job. Well, why didn't you tell me that earlier? What is it you're not happy with? Yada, yada, yada. Okay, so then you've just got to fight through whatever that problem is. Okay, it could be one of a million things, so I'll let you work out your industry. But if they say to you, I need you to go back to the site, say, okay, here's what I'm prepared to do. The invoice was $417. The amount that didn't get done was $50. You pay $350 now, I'll go back to site within 24 hours, and then I'll invoice you for the remaining, right? You just don't want them, they can't have 100% control of this where they send you back to site even though you're trying to collect money, all right? So that's just how it is. Now, when they say to you on the firm phone call, yep, okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to pay it. I didn't, but I'm going to pay. I'm going to pay it on Tuesday. Great. I'm going to check Wednesday. Mary, if it's not in there this time, I'll be giving you a call back and giving you one last chance to pay it. Okay, great. Right? Then you follow the process. If it's paid, don't worry about it. If it's not paid, call them on the day that you said you would. Right. Call number 3. This is the 24-hour call. This phone call is a little bit aggressive. A little bit. You don't have to be angry, but it's borderline. You call up and you say, Mary, it's Wes again. Listen, we've spoken twice about invoice number 217 for $417. Twice you've told me you'd pay it and you haven't. Mary, this is just a call to say, I'm giving you one more chance to make payment on this invoice. If that money is not received in our account in 24 hours, you are forcing me to outsource this debt, and the next correspondence is going to come from Dun & Bradstreet, and it won't be from me. Or the next correspondence will come from our in-house law firm, and it won't be from me. Or the next correspondence that you get over this money will be from Smith & Sons lawyers, and they'll be adding the collection fees on top of the debt, making it a higher bill if it's not in 24 hours. And then you will just see what happens. They will either pay you because they've pushed their luck as far as they can and drawn you out, or they won't pay you, and they were never going to pay you. Okay, that's just part of it. And I kind of reckon that by here, you've just picked up another 5%, which takes you to 95% collections, and it could be 96 or it could be 97, because there's always going to be a few percent of people that never, ever, ever intended to pay you. They were just ripping you off, because I do that with everybody. Okay, that is just life. Then you pursue them in small claims, whatever you want to do. But that system right there, see what happens is, for the honest people who are dragging you out because they're having some challenges or whatever reason, they will actually start to pay you well. They'll pay you on time. They'll start paying you in a faster manner. All that means is it's less collection time and higher cash flow velocity, more money going through your business sooner, which is really, really good.